the #1 requested book in prisons for psychopaths or the psychologically curious. We're going over that in this week, 48 Laws of Power. First law of power, always do a mustache during No Shave November. Kind of making me look like a supervillain today. Anyway, what's up, guys? I'm Clark from ClarkKegley.com. Welcome to the book review series. We take the best books in the world, personal development, self-help, psychology, business. Take those 500, 600 pages, however much of this is around 500 pages, distill it down into 10 principles that you can take action on immediately and get results. Today's book, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Yes, it is the #1 requested books in prisons. It's also been really popular in Hollywood with celebrities, all about what is power, exploring it and unpacking it. So we're going to dive into that. Before we do, if you're a regular viewer on this show, you know what we ask for in the comments below. You're going to listen for one of 3 things. The first, leave a comment with your best idea from this video. The second is something you would like to add that I or we forgot. And the third is something you disagree with. Bring on the arguing. It's one of the best ways to learn. Without further ado, let's start diving into the 48 Laws of Power. Big idea #1, why power? Audiobook version has like music behind it and kind of a creepy narrator with an accent. The whole thing sounded evil. And so I did some digging into this book. You know, what's this guy's story, Robert Greene? Why is this book so highly recommended? Why are all the inmates reading it? Why are those celebrities reading it? And I got his story on some interviews. And he said that when he was writing this book, he was a struggling writer in Hollywood. All these people around him were some of the most manipulative, scheming, sketchy people he's ever met. When I was researching interviews, I found this guy giving his book review of the 48 Laws of Power. And he said this.
I turn around, I see a nigga with glasses on. You know what I'm saying? Thick ass glasses. Be like, yo, this is Robert Greene, dude who wrote 48 Laws of Power. Why did you write that book? What he said was, came to the conclusion that to survive around snakes, you gotta be a snake.
They put these 48 laws that they were using on him into a book as kind of a non-judgmental form of, look, this is what's happening down here. You can use it or not. And he pulls some fantastic stories from throughout history, throughout time, into this book in these 48 principles. And when we get a book like this, there's a lot of power in it, obviously, the name says, because we can use it for one or 2 ways. The first way is, yes, you can use these principles to manipulate people. Again, you can become a sociopath if you really try and apply everything in this book. But the second, what I like this book for, is to use it to when these principles are being used against you. Okay? The best offense can be a good defense at times. So know when you're getting played. Know the insider's playbook. Know what the psychopaths and the manipulative cheats out there are doing. I mean, this is a great read to pick up. Now that we got it set up, we're going to dive into some of the best laws of power. The first law, point #2, never outshine the master. Robert gives this big long quote about what he means for each point, so I summarized them for the following 9 points. Ensure that you don't shine so bright that your boss and peers have to hide in the shadows. You know, I was in college, university, and there was this kid who was brilliant. We're in a political science class, and the professor is also brilliant. So 2 brilliant people in a room sometimes can go at it. And this kid would raise his hand and give comments, I'm not even kidding you, 5 or 6 times a day, to the point of where it was Jackson and Dr. Smith. It was their co-teaching show. He didn't even know he had a TA, but this kid acted like it. And this kid was a very strict Democrat way of thinking. And the professor had even told us up front, look, I'm biased. I side Republican. I see the other side, but you know, it's not how I vote. It's not how I believe. So these two would just go at it over and over and over and over and over again. I was friends with Jackson, so afterwards I'm like, dude, you're blowing it. You're gonna get such a bad grade if he hates you. So how did that course work out for Jackson? He failed it. The guy was so intimidated by this kid who would make him look bad in front of everyone. He found every single way to grade Jackson's paper harder. I saw it in front of me. It was just torn apart. Jackson outshined the master, and he paid the price for it. Make the superiors above you feel superior. Because if you don't, they're going to feel threatened and want to take that out on you. Point #3, always say less than necessary. Silence has a powerful effect when used in the right situation. Make silence your ally, not your foe. And one thing you must never forget, you don't learn anything new by talking. I used to have a boss that would just give you this blank stare. No nonverbals, no nothing. It was the most intimidating thing ever. I'm a 16-year-old kid in a restaurant, downtown Seattle, way out of my league, bussing tables. And this boss, when I go in to talk to him, blank stare, no expression. Had yes or no answers, one-word answers. I mean, talking to that person was so hard. I didn't communicate very well, but I always felt like they were very powerful because they said less than necessary. And those lack of nonverbals, the just stoicism in their face, it's a very hard thing to argue with. And I found myself rambling. I found myself, because they're not giving you any feedback that they understand, so you keep trying to over-explain yourself. Well, powerful people have tapped into this tactic, and they know that if they say less than necessary, they're in a more powerful position. For example, actually, on an interview show, on a radio show, I used to do podcasting for 4+ years, 300+ interviews, hours and hours of just talking to people through a Skype call. And I noticed that I sounded better when I said less than necessary, when I was short and concise with what I was saying, and when I didn't talk when they were trying to talk. You sound more put together. You sound better. Don't be a rambler, right? That's one of the best communication hacks we have. Say less than necessary. Don't always feel like you have to keep talking if someone's not responding, because that principle gets used against us all the time. Point number 4, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Law 7 says, why would you send your heavy troops into the heart of battle while you still have mercenaries and auxiliary troops at your disposal willing to work? Thomas Edison, it's been a known fact that a lot of his inventions he didn't really make. He had other people making them for him, or he stole the credit for them. But when you think of the light bulb, you think of Thomas Edison. When you think of the telegraph, you think of Thomas Edison. When you think of the record player, Thomas Edison. Battery, Thomas Edison. All those inventions, he didn't just sit in his room and they came to him. Or flying a kite, struck by lightning and boom, electricity. No. He had people slaving hours and hours a day to make that, and then he takes the credit. It's the same thing in today's world. We just don't have inventors doing that. Maybe you do with entrepreneurs. Look at Hollywood. Look at musicians. Not everyone on the radio is writing their own songs. Sometimes there's 5, 6, 7 people behind that one hit single. People writing books these days. You can hire ghostwriters for $1 a word, penny a word, or whatever, very inexpensively to write the book, swoop in and take the credit. This law is saying sometimes it's better to work smarter and not harder. Sometimes getting people to do the work for you, people will be so impressed by your efficiency when you take the credit for it. Point number 5, use absence to increase respect and honor. Too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. Remember when Blink-182, the rock band? Those guys, they broke up. What happened? I think I was in middle school when that happened, high school when that happened. Every single person freaked out. Oh my God, they were my favorite band. How's my life going to survive without them? I'll never stop listening to their music. They had this level of hype around them no one had ever seen before with rock bands since Metallica or since the old times, right? There were 3 guys. And then recently, within the past 10 years, they got back together. They did world tours sold out like never before, arenas, stadiums, just ridiculous amounts of people flocking to them because it got taken away from them. So when Blink-182 said goodbye, everyone freaked out. You don't know you don't know what you have until it's gone, right? And then they came back, all of a sudden, boom, everyone wants them. Scarcity creates value, and people value what they can't have very often. That's why diamonds are worth so much, right? They're found in Cracker Jack boxes, no one would bat an eye. Very important counterpoint on this, because this is all about using these laws for you, not against you. If you're a business just starting out, if you're a personal brand, if you're doing something, don't try and use this, all right? Be consistent. This is the most important thing. Scarcity creates value, but that doesn't mean post once a month and hope that it just shoots straight up. No, that's not how it works. 9 times out of 10, it's better to be consistent. But what this law is saying is that once you reach that level of where people are expecting and counting on you and would do anything for you, like Blink-182, sometimes it benefits your fame or your status to take that away for a little bit and then come back. Point number 6, concentrate your forces. Law 23 says, when looking for sources of power to elevate you, find the one key patron, the fat cow, who will give you milk for a long time to come. This is a fundamental right here of getting things done. We've gone over the 80-20 principle on this channel before, that 20% of your results will give you 20% of your efforts will give you 80% of your results. Find that 20% marker and concentrate your energy on that, and the rest will follow. People, sometimes they make a list of all the things they have to do that day, that week, and pretty soon they're putting things on there just so they can check them off and feel better. You don't need to take out the trash on your to-do list. That's not productive. What you do need on there is that 20%. Find those things that move the needle. For me, it's creating content, it's posting videos, it's doing this right now. This is the thing that moves the needle. But if I didn't concentrate my forces, if I take out the trash and do all this other things, I'd be spending my time in that 80% of my time that gives me 20%. So focus on that 20% right there that gives you 80% of your results. There's fascinating statistics on this that look at your closet. 20% of your clothes you wear 80% of the time. Look at your friends. 20% of the people you know, they give you 80% of your happiness. Look at streets. 20% of the roads carry 80% of the traffic. All right, look at economics. 20% of people hold 80% of the wealth, sometimes even more, the 1%. Concentrate your forces. Find, in this case, the fat cow that's giving you a lot of the milk and milk that thing to death. You're going to save so much time not having to focus on the other cows. That's how you really move it. Point number 9, despise the free lunch. Law 40 says, what is offered for free is dangerous. It usually involves either a trick or a hidden obligation. What has worth is worth paying for. By paying your own way, you stay clear of gratitude, guilt, and deceit. Very true law. It's based on the psychological principle of the reciprocity principle. Reciprocity says that if there's 2 doors, we're going through them, you and I hold the first door for you, you're more than likely to hold that second door for me. More so than if I didn't and we just found our own way. When someone does something for us, when someone gives something to us, when someone treats us a certain way, we want to respond accordingly, just like the door. So, despising the free lunch. Be very critical of things that are offered to us for free. For example, in marketing and sales, 101, give something away for free. Freemium's the new premium, is what everyone says. That's not a bad thing at all. That provides tons of value. But it gets a foot in the door to then sell you something down the road. You know, I see this every time I go to LA Fitness. They are giving free guest passes left and right. Why is that? Because they know if someone comes into their gym for free, tries their gym for free, is there for a week for free, they feel a little obligated to buy something, right? They've been there and the trainer keeps calling them for 2 months, blowing up their phone, guilting them into, hey, you came here for a week, man. It's time to sign up. Give us your money. Love it or hate it, that's sales. I heard a story of, I think it was Richard Branson, actually, you know, the billionaire, when he was touring the Virgin Islands with his then wife. They were going around in helicopter tours from the realtors trying to get them to buy things, but it was all free, right? They were just giving them just tons of free stuff. He got a full vacation to the Virgin Islands from it. Stayed in 5-star everything, private villas, all for free because the real estate agents were trying to get him to buy something by giving him the free lunch. Generosity exists, but be careful that that generosity dangling in front of you isn't a worm on a hook that you bite into and get sucked up by the fisherman. So use some skepticism when it comes to the free lunch. Really decipher if you can trust that person who's giving you something for free. Because by all means, if they're being generous, if they're doing it from the goodness of their heart and they're authentic, that's fine. But there's a lot of people who use the free lunch because they have alternative motives. Be careful of that. Point number 10, avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Law 41 says, do not get lost in their shadows or stuck in a past not of your own making. Establish your own name and identity by changing course. Big shoes are hard to fill. If you are walking into a job and someone just left who was phenomenal, people just raved about this person day and night, they were the best boss ever, and then you come in as a new boss, maybe fresh out of college, maybe it's your first big role, maybe it's your first whatever, first real job. That's a tough reputation to live up to, right? That's a big shoes to fill. What if you came in the opposite, just a total train wreck of a boss, came in drunk, left late, left early, got DUIs and got fired? Then they get you, same person, two totally different outcomes based on who was before you. It's kind of like the presidency, if you have a train wreck of a president and then anyone who comes in after is going to look good. But if you're filling the shoes of someone who is just awesome, fantastic, it's a harder gig and people are more critical. So try to create your own brand, your own reputation if you're stepping into someone else's shoes. You can get creative with doing this, but that's what it's saying is watch out for that. That sometimes it's not good to go after the headlining act. That's why they put smaller bands before the big bands. This law is saying be wary of that and know that smaller bars, setting the bar low, it's much easier to excel and jump over and look good than trying to go for the top-notch level. All right, that is it. Dr. Evil is done giving you the 48 laws of power. Thank you so much for watching. Big thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe for more great videos like this. Be sure in the comments you post something you agree with, your best point, something you would like to add, or something you disagree with in the comments. Do that below. Couple announcements here. The first, the 11 questions to change your life. This is a free ebook I put my blood, sweat, and tears into with the best 11 questions that can really impact, change, influence your life for the better. And it's phenomenal. I mean, people send me photos of their completed 11 questions, change your life books, and be sure you sign up for that. It gets sent right to you. It's 100% free launch. We also have mybestjournal.com. This is the membership site where I take you start to finish. The number one thing you can do is start and keep a journal. So I show you a method that I've developed over 8 years, and we've took thousands of people through by now on this channel that gets great results into all this stuff we're talking about right now. It's really hard to apply it. It's hard to measure. It's hard to track. So I put together a course that shows you how you can use your journal to do that. That's at mybestjournal.com. Last announcement, coaching slots. Normally have 5 or 6 available. Try to work with the most driven, motivated people. Link in the description below or the email you can reach me at. Please only contact me if you're very serious about this. I get a lot of inquiries, which isn't bad, but not a lot of people are ready to take their business to that next level. So if you're curious about it, if you're frustrated with lack of results in it, I've grown this channel, I've grown this business to 10x in 6 months, and it keeps going up just crazy thousands and thousands a month. Email me, clark@clarkkegley.com. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. It's truly an honor to talk about these ideas with you. I will see you next time. Until then, stop settling, start living. See you later.